Hello, welcome to The West and the Rest. So my goal on this channel is to be able to look at the geopolitical news and events that are happening around the world and then translate what that means for you and your wallet. So this channel is effectively going to be a early warning system for your wallet. Best thing you can do for anything that happens with price is be prepared, have advance warning so that you can make the best plans with the best time lead you can. It's the 16th of March 2026, so Donald Trump and the US have been striking at Iran and trying to topple the regime there. The regime has responded by closing the Strait of Hormuz, which means that 20% up to 30% of the world's oil supply is now locked, and only allies of Iran are allowed to pass through that strait to get the oil that they can produce out into the world. So that includes Russia, China, and mainly other BRICS nations. So as a result, oil prices have been very volatile over the last couple of weeks, but there is trends in there which can dictate what's going to happen in the future. So I'll be looking at those to try and understand what that means for us, what it means for petrol at the pump, what does it mean for gas prices, what does it mean for other energy prices. Second element I'm going to look at is, it's still the Strait of Hormuz, but it's looking at it more from a shipping and an international logistics point of view. What does it mean for all of the ships that pass in and out of that area, all of the things that they're carrying to and from places? What does that mean for things that people are going to need and use? The third element of the Strait of Hormuz blocking I'm going to focus on is around fertilizer. Fertilizer is a huge key element for farmers. We're now in March, heading into the most important planting season for farmers around Europe and around the world. In order to make sure that the crops are going to grow, fertilizer is a key ingredient for that. It helps them increase the yields on their crops. So I'm going to look at what the Strait of Hormuz blocking by Iran is going to mean for the ability for farmers and commercial food growers to be able to purchase fertilizer for their yields. If you want more early warning signals, If you want more early warning signals to protect your wallet, then why not subscribe to this channel? Go to oleog.co.uk, look at the market analysis tracker I have there, and also subscribe to my newsletter where you'll get even more detailed information that can help you plan for the future. So oil supply has been blocked in Strait of Hormuz, which is going to have an immediate significant impact. It's going to be 20% of the world's oil supply is now potentially paused or not being delivered, and up to 30% of the seaborne oil delivery is also impacted. So oil futures are going to have an immediate spike. They've probably already spiked. We're now into mid-March. But however, it's going to have a 1 to 3 month lead time for those high prices from the initial shock of the closing of the Strait of Hormuz to transfer into ordinary householders' wallets so that they'll see high prices at the petrol pumps. The second element, which is really crucial, is the closing by Qatar of their gas production facilities. So this has a massive impact. Again, gas futures are going to be immediately shooting higher. The 1 to 3 month time lag still applies here for household usage. The larger problem that this brings, though, is in order for that to be restarted, it could take potentially up to a year for that to get to full production levels before they stopped, which is significant in its own right. But the biggest impact that also has is on the storage capability. Most nations only have, a few days or a couple of weeks storage capacity at any one time. Now we're coming into the summer in the UK, where it's going to be a lot warmer. People are going to be using a bit less gas domestically. However, for energy, for electricity provision by big nation states like the UK as an example, this is a huge problem. Their biggest other energy supplier is Russia, and for political reasons they've decided that they don't want to take any of that Russian energy. This now means the UK has a massive problem that they need to resolve. So that country, as leadership, Keir Starmer, needs to come up with a solution pretty quickly before this starts having serious, significant effects on the whole of the UK and how we operate. Not just householders, businesses, electricity generation are all impacted by this. So this is something that they're going to have to work incredibly hard and incredibly quickly to fix. The second factor that the Strait of Hormuz brings into focus is the impact on shipping and international distribution and logistics. So a couple of years ago, there was some problems in the Red Sea whereby the Houthis were blocking and preventing ships from going up through Israel and up through the Suez Canal. So lots of ship owners and shipping companies like Maersk, etc., they decided to shift away from the Suez and go round Africa. It used to be about 2,000 ships a day would go through the Suez Canal. That's down to about 1,000 now, even though that's 2.5 years later. So there's still, 40 to 50% pre-2023 levels are still impacted by that. Now we have the Strait of Hormuz being blocked. That also is a big contributor to vessels going through the Suez Canal. If those are also starting to go around Africa, that's going to have a massive lead time, not only on just the lead time for delivery of products, it's going to massively increase the costs. For example, going around Africa is thousands and thousands of miles more that ships have to complete, which means they have to have more fuel, which potentially means they have to have less capability to store products that they're delivering. That means increased costs for them to deliver that. So effectively, you're going to have products that are going to take longer to get to Europe. Products are going to cost more, and there's going to be fewer of them delivered. So that's something that we're still suffering from 2023. So that has already had a 2-year impact. But with the Strait of Hormuz also being closed now, that also could increase that capacity. So you could begin to see ordinary goods take months longer instead of weeks. So for example, a lot of the products that people buy on Alibaba, on Temu, even on Amazon, these products are going to take a lot longer to arrive. There are also going to be a lot fewer of them, which means they're going to cost more. So the third section that I'm going to cover today, or the third signal that I'm going to review, is the impact of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz on fertilizer and fertilizer products. So there has been a small shock in the price of fertilizer as a result of this, but coming further down the year, it's going to mean that fertilizer is vastly more expensive, which means that for those who can't plant today, because we've had such a poor and wet winter, planting has already been affected. Lots of farmers can't even plant stuff. Now the fact that there's going to be impacts on fertilizer prices means even fewer planting is going to appear. So this is going to mean within sort of 12 to 15 months time, the price of fertilizers mean that farmers for next season won't be able to buy enough fertilizer to get ready for then the planting season, which as a result of the closure of the Straits of Hormuz, energy risks, shipping and distribution risks, and then also the third one is food and fertilizer. So for energy risks, within weeks, already we're seeing some of the prices begin to increase at the pumps, but within weeks to 10 to 12 weeks, you will start seeing significant price increases as a result of the shortage of gas and oil. The shipping disruption has already been impacted by previous disruptions through the Red Sea, but now this has been blocked. There's lots of ships which are out at sea. They're going to all begin to start making the long trip around Africa to amend their trading routes. So that's going to have about a 2 to 6 month lead time on delivery of products that are currently on board, and then the ability for those to get back and resupply. It's also going to have a knock-on impact. So it's like a mini COVID-esque impact. That such is the level of the importance of the Strait of Hormuz. One is around food and fertilizer. So it's going to have an immediate impact now because farmers are going to be looking to purchase fertilizer for the next year for growing season. As those prices increase, it means their ability to grow more is going to be reduced because they're not going to have enough, be able to afford the high rise in fertilizer, so they can buy less and therefore grow less. That's going to have a big lead time in around 6 months when the kind of harvest season starts coming in, and then between August and March of next year up to another 12 months when the post-harvest products start also coming in. We'll see huge in prices in them as well. So get prepared. If you track energy, distribution and food supply and the impacts that are happening globally, you can get a good look into the future of what that means for the prices of things. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Go to oliog.co.uk where you can see a live dashboard and how these pricing signals are happening day to day. Thanks. Bye.